Hi everyone, welcome to my Done Renting Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you guys. Am I on time? Yeah, exactly 6 p.m. I just bought this gong. Should I try it? There you go. We're live. Here we go. So before I start our session, I want to share a story. So I had an open house on last Sunday, and this couple walked in. So I asked him, hey, what brought you over here today? The guy looked at me and said, the American dream. I was a little bit surprised, but I started laughing. It was so cute. And it's so true in many ways because I was there to do exactly that. The American dream is well and alive and really motivates me to do all these live sessions. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that whatever you do, have the right plan in place and let's get this American dream happen. Okay, so the last couple of sessions, we talked about how much does it cost to own, how much it costs to buy, the credit issues, the lender's math, how they calculate how much your housing budget is, and based on your real life housing budget, how you derive from your take-home pay to the actual housing budget based on your living expenses, your debt. So the logical sequence would be get pre-approved, find a realtor, then house hunting. I'm gonna go in the future to talk about how to pick a realtor, and if you follow the plan, like how we talked about from a financial standpoint, the pre-approval is really a foregone conclusion. It's basically paperwork to get to a number based on lender's math. But if you do it right, your housing budget will be way under the lender's number. So today I want to talk about something fun. House hunting is fun, but that's where all the mistakes are made as well, because that's where the emotions kick in. When the emotions kick in, people forget about all the things that they have to deal with later. So before you go house hunting, let's take a look at what I have here. So before you house hunting, I want you to make sure the house, it needs to pass 3 tests. The budget, which we have talked about so many times, the house itself has to fit into your life within the house. I mean, the location, the function and the layout has to work, and the condition. And the life around the house has to make sense. I'm talking about the location, the neighborhood, the noise, because you cannot move the house, right? So let's see. The first mistake, top 5, right? People pay so much attention on the cosmetics because that's where you first notice the wall colors, the paint, the cabinets, the hardwood floors, the fixtures. But what's more important is the layout, the lot, the commute, and whether street noise is an issue. Because paint you can fix, the cabinets color you can change, but the layout will be difficult. The neighborhood will be difficult. The commute will be hard to handle. All these things will far away the cosmetics. I put this into 3 categories. Things you cannot change, things are hard to change and things are easy to change. So, what I meant by cannot change: the street, the law, the commute, the neighborhood, the noise. Hard to change: the layout, the major systems, parking, the stairs. Easy to change: paint, fixture, carpet, appliances, staging, furniture. This is a good one. Mistake number 4. When people walk into a home, they see the dream, they see they can live a life. They see all these great things. Before closing it, it's the character, right? Hacienda style. After closing, it's a repair list. Conditions people often miss. Because I was just in this open house, right? And the first thing the lady said, there is some paper in the front of your house. And I was like, what? I actually did make sure there's no trash or anything, but there's probably one or two pieces of paper. But that what people notice. So they immediately think the house is probably not well maintained. So keep that in mind. But you walk into there were people that would tell me, I would not buy a house if the color is pink. Well, depending on when the house was built and if they have kids, some of the bedrooms might be pink. But those issues should not persuade you from not buying a home. But instead, you should focus on whether the window is stuck, whether the floors are even, because what if the hardwood floors were not installed properly? You walk on it and it squeaks. That would kill me. And smell. Sometimes they might have the moldy smell. Check out at the corner of the floor if there's any mold. The age of the house. If is the water heater installed properly? Check out the do-it-yourself workmanship. You can get the overall idea if the work is done above par or subpar. Also, one thing that people don't think about is when you look on the wall, make sure you kind of look at an angle to see if the paint is buckling. If it is, it means there's water intrusion. But if you don't pay attention, you're not going to be able to see that at all. So pay attention to little things, just a little bit more detailed versus just very superficial. And write down anything that you have questions for the inspector later. Okay, so what is the third mistake? This is a good one. People often underestimate the cost after closing. I don't want to scare you away of every house. You're like, oh, I have this problem, I have that problem. Especially pay attention if you want to buy the old house versus the new construction particular. Don't ever assume the new builds is perfect. Don't ever assume new builds does not require independent third-party inspection. New builds have quality issues as well. Some builders will cut corners to reduce cost. So you absolutely can never waive inspection, whether it's old house and new house. Old house, well maintained, that doesn't mean it will require huge remedy. But new house, if it's built poorly, you're going to have issues, water leakages, the solar panel don't work. Yeah, trust me. So don't ever waive inspections. Always hire your third party independent ones. Never use the sellers, and never use the builders. And one more thing, always be present at the inspection. It's not just about understanding the issues, but also walk around the house will give you an idea to know where the main systems are. That's a good knowledge to have. And the inspector will tell you, hey, I'm going to write this in the report. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Versus when you go read the report later while you were not present, you may look at this like, is it a big deal? Like you'll freak out. So be present at the inspection is very important, especially for first-time buyers. Okay, what is number 2? Ooh, this is a good one. Fatigue. People pick homes because having looked at so many houses, they almost give up. And this house comes along, all of a sudden, some conditions becomes tolerable. The ones that don't have them, it's not on your must-have list, you decided, I'll deal with it. Fatigue is real. And people have buyer's remorse because they decided they were worried that they're not going to be able to find another home. They worry they have to go through this process again. So they just, okay, I'll just pick this one. Don't ever let fatigue to decide what kind of house you're going to need or what kinds of house you're going to buy. Please, it's very, very important. The last one, it's not talked about a lot. People ignore the life around the house. Okay, you're buying a house, but you also have a daily life to live around, right? Whatever your routine is, maybe you need to be close to the hospital because you need to see doctors often. I had a buyer who backed out of 2 offers after he backed out of his 2 contracts because he was wowed over a lot of things because the house looks fantastic, it's well maintained, it looks just perfect, great layout, had a beautiful backyard. And he thinks, I'll just deal with going to the hospital. But luckily, he backed out of it because he finally realized that was the single most important thing to him is be close to his doctor. And he cannot compromise on that one condition. I'm glad he did because we finally got a house that overall had the best fit for his life. I have another couple. Oh, I love. One time we visit them and we're sitting in the backyard enjoying the little fire pit, have a little glass of wine. And then all of a sudden I feel this constant just whoosh, whoosh come behind me. It's the white noise, and I hate the white noise. When you just, when something, when you're enjoying your moments, your conversations, and all of a sudden this go, whoosh, whoosh. I'm like, please kill me now. Okay, there are people like buy a house next to the airport. Imagine the planes coming and go. After a while, it gets so tedious, laboring. Trust me, noise is one of the biggest things people don't think. And you have to live that day in and day out. It will get on your nerves. Commute. That's a good one. People will think 20 minutes each trip, not that big of a deal. At 20 minutes, I can deal with it. But 20 minutes each way is 40 minutes a day. I don't even know, a week. I lost track of it. And that adds up. So don't compromise on that if that's an issue. At the end of the day, you ask yourself, will I be happy living in this house with everything I have to do? Will that bring convenience? Will that bring peace? Yes, and not deal with any white noise. Okay, just a recap. The 5 questions you have to ask yourself before you fall in love. Is this cosmetic? Condition, cost, and making this decision based on fatigue? Is the location gonna be okay for me? What can I not change about this home? What could cost me in the next 12 to 24 months? Do I love this daily life or only the house? Am I choosing this because I have asked all the right questions or because I'm just simply exhausted? Okay, I'm not gonna, we already covered all this. I want to share one more question, one more story, actually. We have our friend, they bought this house and they invited us to the housewarming party, right? It's a grand house. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, yeah, beautiful. Until we go down to the swimming pool, and there were 200 steps. 200 steps. We go all the way down because we're having barbecue party. So we went downstairs, and all of a sudden I heard yelling, and our friend was calling her husband, "Honey, do we have the mustard?" And it was yelling, and she's like, "No!" So they had to go all the way up, 200 steps up to get the mustard and going all the way down. And I was telling myself, the pool is awesome. The house is fantastic, but I don't think I can live here for too long. And 6 months later, they had to sell the house because it just became such a chore. And they hardly go down to the pool because of the when you're looking at like, okay, you know what, sounds so good, I can just do all the exercise I need, I don't even have to go to the gym. But when you do it, try it several times, you're like, I'm done. It gets old quick. So I have a lot of stories to share, probably do a different time. And thank you. I think I covered most of the mistakes, and I can share stories by myself, but I don't want to keep rambling. So, anyways, planning is key, and understanding what matters to you the most and avoid these 5 mistakes will go a long ways during your house hunting. If you need any help for your financial planning, please text plan to this number here. It's 916-975-6120. We can help you figure out how to build this financial plan together so you can get your American dream a lot closer. Thank you so much for watching, and I really enjoy this. Somebody said more stories. Okay, I'll share one more story. We bought this house in San Francisco, and I can tell you, we walked in. I think that was our first house. Oh, never buy the first house you saw. Okay, compare it. You get so excited. Walk in. North wall is floor to ceiling, all windows, and you can see downtown Bay Bridge and the water. What a view! And I tell myself, I don't care what we need to do. We will figure out every penny we got. We're gonna buy this house. Yeah, that was back in the days. I didn't do this. Nobody told me how to do the housing budget or that. I totally relied on emotions. And the house was sitting on a hill, one of the steepest hills in San Francisco. I don't think we ever did any walking because every time I think if I walk down, I have to come back up. I don't want to do that. So I still remember I probably walked that hill maybe twice my 5 years we were there. And once we had kids, no, it just wouldn't work. It was, yeah. So don't just get too emotionally attached and forget everything else. That's so important. Um, what else? I think we're good. Thank you guys so much for listening to my stories. And yeah, the noise is like so important. The steps up and down, 2 stories, 3 stories, the master bedroom upstairs with the stairs. That could be an issue for a lot of people. It sounds great, but it's not that convenient. Somebody was asking me, how are rates this week? Okay. Rates have been hovering around on the 30-year fix, like 6.625. Nothing has changed drastically compared to like a month ago. I think rates went up from, 6.38 to 6.625 in about like a month and a half ago, and it's just hovering around that. But here's the thing. People often focus on rates too much. Okay, a quarter rates, it's gonna affect your payment depending on, like, I think a $500,000 loan, like 30, $40. So what you really need to focus on is the overall monthly payment. And there are many ways to get at the rate you want without you having to pay out of your pocket, right? So you can do offer strategies, working with the seller, financing the closing cost, and bring the low rate down. But I would not focus too much on the rate, but overall housing payment is really the key. Any other questions? I think that's it. Next week, what I want to talk about, you know, I actually, let me think about this actually. Uh, yeah, I think there were several things I want to focus on. So I will let you guys know and announce it in a couple of days. Let's make a surprise, I think. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Really appreciate it. And have a great rest of the week. See you guys next Wednesday.